our health and wellness video series. These videos are intended to provide you with the knowledge that you need to get on the road to a healthier lifestyle. Today's video will be about managing stress. Here we have our presenters, Melody Champion and Andrea Morley, both nutritionists and health coaches. Today's presentation will be led by myself, Andrea Morley. Now, before we start, I just want to say that you should always consult your doctor before changing anything to do with your diet or exercise routine. So as I said, today's topic is about managing stress. Stress is very important for absolutely everyone, as we're all affected by stress in different ways. So basically, stress is a response to a difficult situation or various stressful triggers. And it has a multitude of negative health effects that we need to be aware of so that we can prevent our health from suffering. So basically, when we experience stress, we have a negative response to it. So that can be anything from heightened blood pressure to just being angry or confused. And then this causes us to be distracted. So then when we are faced with more stress, we're unable to cope with that. And then it just builds up and it gets worse and worse over time. So if we don't do something about the stress, our lives are going to be impacted by it, and our health is very likely to be impacted by it as well. So there's two different kinds of stress that I want to kind of outline for you. There's acute stress, which is caused by more so one-time events. It's typically unexpected and it's highly stressful. It can be positive or negative. So the negative ones would be something like a car accident, or even if you're just walking down the street and you're not paying attention and you kind of fall off the sidewalk, fall off the curb. It gets your blood pressure up and it kind of it scares you. But then it can also be positive, such as the adrenaline rush that you get from flying down a ski hill or jumping out of a plane, parachuting. But today I want to focus more on chronic stress. Chronic stress is recurring, so this is what has more of an impact on our health over time. It's typically not unexpected. It's things that we kind of expect on a day-to-day basis, especially because they are long-term and we experience them repetitively. So these can be things like traffic, work, your living situation, or finances, and long-term illness. So these are things that we're less able to control, and they really do have large impacts on our health over time. So the effects of chronic stress, I keep saying that we have negative health impacts, but what are they? So when you experience stress, sometimes you'll notice small things might be a little bit of tension in your shoulders or physical pain, even pain in your stomach. You might have trouble sleeping and digestion issues. And then more serious issues that we see are things like weight gain, because stress increases the hormone cortisol, which causes us to gain weight. And then one of the most serious things that we see regularly as a result of chronic stress is heart disease. So as I mentioned, we really want to be able to manage our stress levels, not necessarily our sources of stress, but manage our stress levels so that we can prevent these health issues. So as I said, chronic stress isn't necessarily controllable, but it's manageable. So I want you to change what you do have control over. Of course, I'm not expecting you to change things like your finances, but do what you can to alleviate your stress levels. So we're going to start by talking about managing chronic stress at home. Some of the things you can do are to control a healthy diet and exercise routine. This is because it promotes high energy levels, and that helps to release endorphins and improve our mood, and it promotes a healthy weight and body image, which of course is going to increase our confidence and increase our ability to deal with stressful circumstances. And of course, diet and exercise helps to reduce illness, and that reduces our stress sources. Another thing you can do at home or even at work is to talk it out and write it out. If you have issues that you are dealing with, sometimes it might help to talk to somebody. Let them know what's stressing you out, but then end that conversation on a high note so that you can take something good away from that conversation. Keep a journal or keep notepads and pens throughout the house so that if something's on your mind, you can just jot it down and then kind of try to forget about it for the time being. Write out your stress, as I said, in a journal. And keep reminders and lists to stay organized. Oftentimes we get really stressed out because we have so much on the go, but if we can just write that list out, that can really help to just be one less thing that we have to think about. Something else you can do at home is to reward yourself and make sure that you make self-care a priority. So these can be anything like enjoyable hobbies or getting out in nature, watching a funny movie, going for a massage, and that can really help with the physical pain I was talking about earlier, any tension, or just take a nice long bubble bath if that's something you enjoy, or let yourself sleep in on the weekend when you would normally make yourself get out of bed really early. If you have the time, give yourself an extra half hour of sleep. Now, managing chronic stress at work. Work is a big source of stress for most people. So there's a few different things that we can do to make sure that these stress levels don't get so high that they affect our health. Now, the first thing we're talking about is improving your commute. I know you probably don't have a lot of control over how stressful your commute is, but it could be little tweaks such as deciding whether you want to listen to music or drive in silence. It can actually make a really big difference in how much you enjoy your commute, so figure out what you enjoy more. Don't just default to turning the radio on every morning or not. Leave a little bit earlier, even 15 minutes can make a big difference, or consider taking alternate routes just to maybe switch things up, or maybe you'll realize that you're actually not taking the best route. And then, of course, consider whether you should be taking public transit, driving, or walking. You might realize that you've been driving when you could actually just walk there in about 15 minutes, and this would really help your stress levels because you're not sitting in traffic. Music versus silence at work. For many people, listening to music, it can really alleviate stress levels and it can actually help them to be a little bit more productive. So this of course depends on your job duties at work, so it's something you have to check with your employer about. But if you are able to listen to music while you work, pick something with a nice relaxing but steady beat, and as I said, this may help with productivity and increase your success at work. Use your breaks. Your breaks are meant for you time. So if you can, leave your workstation during your break, get outside, get some exercise. Try not to stress yourself out by trying to do 100 different things on your break, but use that as a time to really decompress halfway throughout your day. And now to talk about Now we want to talk about prioritizing. Just as I mentioned at home, we can have so many different things on the go while we're at work. So it's a good idea to use some lists and focus on one thing at a time. And a saying that I like is to eat the frog first. So that means to get the biggest, most daunting tasks out of the way as soon as you can. And that can help to make the rest of the day seem much easier. Now, it's important to make sure that we separate work from home. When you're at work, focus on that. When you're at home, focus on that. I know it's easier said than done, but do what you can to separate the two. Avoid checking your work email at home, but if you do have to do this, designate a specific time for it. And remember that work is just a part of your life, not all of it. If you have to, seek professional help. It might be temporary or long term, but you will realize that it can really go a long way in helping your stress levels and helping your health. It's a great opportunity to share issues in a safe environment, so look into that if you think it might benefit you. Finally, I just want to say that we should all remember to just enjoy the ride. Brush off the little things and ask yourself if all these stressors are worth it, because there's always going to be more stress in our lives. So keep a realistic yet positive outlook and just look for the good in things. Do what you can to alleviate your stress levels and just look forward to the good that is yet to come. Thank you for watching our video, and please leave us some feedback to let us know what you would like to see in future videos and to let us know how we can improve. Thank you.